Hi, Felicia Miller here. Here is another example of domestic violence for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, also called Intimate Partner Violence, IPV. So, I had dated this one guy for a hiccup. Met him when I was at IEPY for psychology. He was not the type of guy I had dated, and not the kind of guys that I had ran with. And so I thought, hey, here's a shot. He's different than, the drug dealers I hung out with and all these other type of people. So we start dating and I move in with him and I'm living with him. And I'm like, this is going great. Well, then I find out it was not so great. Everything I was avoiding, he was. He sold drugs. He did drugs. He did all this stuff. And then he went to go hit me one time. And I was like, oh, you're that type. This isn't going to work out for us because I don't date people who hit. And so fast forward, I'm making my plan to get out. I'm making my way of escape. And then he, and I did do some stuff. I'm going to say I was not innocent in some of the stuff that I did do. But at the same time, what I did do did not deserve being hit. And his mother at one point had came to me and said, to his defense, there were certain things I did that deserved his behavior. There were certain things that I did that deserved his attention and that I should excuse his behavior. And I was like, that's not how this works. I'm not excusing him. This is not okay. I'm not staying in this relationship. And it was now become more public knowledge I was leaving this relationship, and she was there to, stay, he'll change, and sell the dream. And it was like, you raised an abuser. You're excusing his behavior to beat somebody, to hit somebody, to behave this way. So I leave, come back, and I had a group of people that had came to help me move out. And my husband now, we were dating, he had came to help. And this guy, of course, because there was an audience of people, couldn't do anything. But there was a moment that I was in the garage getting something. He came out to kind of show his power and was going to force me to do something and, just that dominance thing. So my husband comes around the corner and he's like, we're not doing any of this. Not doing a single bit of this. Has me come out of the garage. This guy stays. We leave. Fast forward, I'm still living on my own, still working in the clubs. I had rules. I didn't go anywhere after work when I left the club because I didn't want to run into somebody that I had hustled out of money. I didn't want to run into people who had came there for our services. So I break my own rule, go get food. This guy that I dated moved out. He pulls up behind me, ready to fight, ready to do all this stuff. So we get into it in the parking lot. He's throwing stuff at me. I am hitting him. And I follow him to his house, which I should totally have not done. I should have went home. But I followed him to his house, and I wanted my personal belongings back. And was like, give me my stuff. Give me my artwork I did in therapy. Give me all this stuff. Give me these things I've crocheted. Like, I want to move on with my life. Proceeds into hitting. So turns into this whole thing where, like, I have, marks on my neck from where he tried to choke me. He's hit me in my face. I've hit him. We both have bruises. Now, I leave, get a restraining order, and everywhere I go, I got this restraining order. I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. Like, he can't come here. He can't, whatever. So where I was working at, him and his friends come in. I show the bouncers. I show the owners. He can't be here. I have a protective order against this individual. He was not there to have fun. He was there to, ridicule me, show his power, show whatever. This turned into a whole situation. He didn't stop. He didn't care. So then he's stalking. Like, he's trying to show up at places. He's trying to show up where I work. He's trying to show up at all these places because he no longer has possession. I have moved on. I've moved out. And my husband and I, we were dating. So, of course, he's helping because this guy is relentless. He would not leave me alone. And it took my husband to go and have a real conversation with this individual, with other people about, like, you're going to leave her alone. Like, this is over. You have got to stop showing up. He was the first person who's ever said no one can abuse me. He's the first person who's ever stuck up for me. Everybody else historically is like, no, it's not that. They change the narrative, they defend it, they do whatever. He's the first person who said you cannot behave in this manner. She's worthy of being protected. The first person. When it comes to domestic violence, it takes multiple times to get away. I am blessed. It didn't take me that long. He put his hands on me one time and I made an exit plan because that was not going to be how I lived my life. And my husband and I did get married. We have never abused each other. Never. But my husband did have to endure my reactions based on what I had endured. And he helped me develop secure attachment. So when you're working with someone who is in an intimate partner violence relationship, a domestic violence relationship, just be cautious, be supportive of them, because it's very scary when you have someone that you don't know what they're going to do, and then you don't have people who support you. The people at the club, they did not care. They could care less. They wanted the money. They did not honor my protective order. And they let him come in, and a whole situation ensued. Had they had honored the protective order, this individual wouldn't have came in. So when people come to you, they're at the church, they're at your business, they have a protective order, and they list the protective order, they list the church, they list the entity, they list these people. You have to honor that. If I could go back and tell that younger version of myself, I would have totally been like, hire a lawyer, because they were listed. But, I was young. I didn't know any better. So education is everything. Domestic violence awareness, it is about education. Ultimately, it is about power and control. And when the perpetrator feels like he no longer has power, or she, because she can also be a perpetrator, no longer has power and control, they're going to fight in every way to get it. God bless.